Hey, I'm Vergo and this is Psychedelic Actualization. On this channel we talk about topics like self-realization, self-actualization and working with psychedelics to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. So today I want to share the trip report of my highest dose of LSD for now, yet. Yeah, it was like on a rainbow gathering and I was going far out into the forest to be alone and by myself to go into this journey. It has been like a month or two since my last trip, and yeah, so I wanted to like do the journey alone in the forest with the highest dose I've ever done. And with acid it has been a long journey for me, and I've just like stepped it up a little bit over the time, and I was just like around the 100 to 200, I think maybe one time 250 microgram range of LSD. So I got some good acid and I wanted to try it. It was 127 mics per piece and I decided to take 3. Don't ask why it's 127. I think they like, he made it himself and he managed, or he figured out that 200 was too strong, so they had to lower it, and so it was 127 per piece, and I took 3 tabs. So I took 381, I guess, micrograms of LSD, pure LSD. And that is the highest dose I've ever done. As I told you, like 200 to 250 of really good acid were pretty strong trips I had and pretty deep trips I had. And that was, yeah, a big step for me, like to go that much higher. But I wanted to explore acid on deeper levels, and I still want to, and I'm interested in the more deeper realms of the LSD. So I set my intentions, I created a playlist, I prepared my place, and I got like a lot of water and snacks and food and my phone and headphones. That was unusual for me because I wasn't using my phone like for 3 weeks up until this point. I packed my camera and a backpack with changa, the notebook, and rapé, toilet paper, a yoga mat and a blanket and good warm clothes. So that was everything I packed, and I went into the forest. And yeah, it was that trip that you saw the clip about that I uploaded. You can watch it right here, I guess, where I was on LSD for 10 minutes and, well, I didn't say a word. So yeah, that's how it looks like when I'm tripping on acid. But not only in that way. So I just wanted to share a little bit more of the experience, because I'm not just sitting there and looking at paper, but at least that's most of the time that's the essence of the trip, or laying there with closed eyes. So my intention was like to reflect on the last 2 months of me traveling around, and of finding the balance between like creating and traveling. Because like traveling around and spending time with a lot of great people, meeting new people, seeing new places is a kind of consuming. And I wasn't really creating that much, and I wasn't really focused on creating YouTube videos or creating other stuff that much. So I wanted to look into that topic, and I wanted to think about the YouTube channels, my German ones and this one, and how to continue them while I'm traveling further. And I wanted to plan like the next couple of months what I want to do, and I wanted to contemplate the rainbow lifestyle. Rainbow gatherings are a topic for another video. I will talk about them in another video. And yeah, I wanted to think about my purpose and my values, and of integrating myself in the rainbow community and my skills and I wanted to contemplate inspiration, freedom, silence, God, love, values, my purpose, gratitude, and I was just like feeling inside and letting go and surrendering to the experience. So that were my topics for this trip, and I went into them. So I took the tabs and I was just like, I think I was listening to music, but just like 1 or 2 songs, and then I decided to turn the music off and put the phone away, because it was so weird to listen to music from this weird device we call phone. Because I was just like for 3 weeks at the Rainbow without a phone, just listening to live music all the time. So it was weird to listen to this electronic music or acoustic music out of this electronic device. So I put it away, and it was one of the few experiences. I have had a couple of experiences on acid in complete silence, but just like 2 or 3 of them maybe, like completely in silence. So, and that was a trip I spent completely in silence without any music at all. So that was kind of interesting. And yeah, then I went into the journey and I was just contemplating stuff. The acid was like coming on really slowly. It took like probably an hour or so. I haven't watched the time, I didn't watch the time, but it felt like a really long time. And I had kind of this expectation that it would be a really strong experience and that it would overwhelm me with an astonishing ego death, but that didn't happen. It was really soft actually. Visual wise, it was really soft, and also like from the feeling and from the intensity of the feeling of the emotions. Sometimes the acid like hits me really hard and it's pretty emotional, and I go through these topics and I cry a lot and I lay down and I really like feel it, you know. But this time with the highest dose ever, but it was like different acid. I just got it like a week ago from a trustworthy person, but it was like different acid than the usual ones I had. So it wasn't that emotional. It was just like pretty soft and pretty like pure and clean. I don't know how to describe it, but it was like, yeah, very pure and very soft and very gentle. And I was just able to go into it in the silence and to contemplate all these topics. And I contemplated really fast actually the last 2 months of traveling. Okay, everything's fine. Finding balance between creating and traveling and consuming actually. There was the insight like, I have my camera with me. I could just record myself sitting here on acid, and so I did that and shared the experience with you guys. And yeah, I got like an authentic and deeper inspiration for the creation of things and for the development of my skills. And I thought about the plans of the future, went through that, and went through the rainbow lifestyle and my appreciation for this kind of philosophy, and that was it basically. So I didn't write down that much, but the key insight I wrote down because all the other stuff was like so clear to me that I just contemplated it, and you saw me doing that in that video. I just contemplated it in my head and I was going through it and then it was just like a check, and it wasn't like too emotional or too important to write it down. But one thing I wrote down, one insight, and that is the insight: discipline yourself to practice. So I kind of lack the discipline at the moment a little bit to practice my meditation, to practice the yoga or the stretching or the healthy eating. I mean, I kind of eat healthy and I kind of do my meditation every day, and I really do it. But what I wrote down is like I want to do it with more commitment, with more determination, with more focus, to really get into the presence of existence and of truth and of God. And I really want to like practice this spirituality and live it more into my life and integrate it more into my life. And I'm on a pretty good way, I guess, but still there was the insight to and the desire to practice more and to practice really with more commitment. So to get into this state of silence and of truth. So yeah, that were my insights. And then I was smoking a little bit of changa, and that is where like the real trip began. Also, an interesting thing I wrote down is because of the silence, the sound of my environment was intensified a lot, like a lot. And there were a lot of bugs and flies and everything that lives in the forest were around me. And it was, I don't know, not really distracting, but it was present, you know, it was really present. All these flies and bugs and everything was so intensified, like the sound of it. And it was interesting to observe this. Yeah, I feel like I got to know myself a little bit deeper and a little bit more intimately, on a more intimate level on this journey. And that is a really beautiful point, because doing acid in silence, yeah, always. Like I think I like get to know myself. I have the feeling I get to know myself on a deeper level, and I get to know parts of myself and like areas of myself that I haven't accessed before that much or that clearly. So that's a beautiful thing. And yeah, it was soft, not too emotional. Visual-wise was not much going on. I saw like rotating patterns in the sky and with like these rotating faces. I don't know if you know them, but sometimes in the sky, or especially in the clouds, there are like kind of these faces everywhere around, and they are like rotating a little bit. It doesn't look like a specific faces, but the shape of a face. I sometimes see them on DMT and sometimes now, for example, on acid. And otherwise was not much going on. I reflected on my life. The result is I am so happy with how my life is going at the moment, and that I don't have to worry about anything, and that is such a blessing. Really, it's such a blessing to have the mindset of not worrying about anything, and like the mindset and the perspective that everything is perfect. I mean, of course I do still have to deal with challenges or decisions in my life, and I still have to work through very much, you know, but still like to have that attitude of everything is perfect and I don't really have to worry about anything right now is a beautiful insight, and that really was coming forth and radiating on this trip. I want to hustle more for my German YouTube channel, and for this one was coming out, and I want to film more while I'm traveling about, because I'm really not much filming when I'm traveling, because my phone is away and my camera is in the backpack, and I'm just experiencing the adventure without the filming part of it. But I don't know why I'm not filming it. So yes, some other things and insights about my life and what I want to do and blah blah blah. And the feeling of gratitude was shining forth. And then I smoked some changa. And you saw maybe the life trip report or the life experience of it. And it was incredible. That was like where the real trip started. The whole changa experience. And the changa experience was so profound and so significant that I want to share the trip report and the explanation of what I experienced in another separate video that will be coming online in the next couple of weeks. So I will leave this part out for now. And yeah, the DMT was basically there for like an hour. It was really intense, and that hour I want to share in the trip report, but it was there for like 3 hours or 4 hours maybe, like the vibe of the DMT, because I took like 5 hits of changa, and it was a lot, you know, and it was so intense, it was so mind-blowing. And after this whole like changa experience, like the intense part after that hour, I wanted to make a fire, because I was just like in this DMT space and still like in the acid and DMT space at the same time. It was astonishing, and I was like, I had the idea to make a fire because I wanted to look into the fire while being in that state. So I made the fireplace, like I actually prepared the fireplace and collected some wood on the come up, so that was quite good. And then I wanted to make a fire, and my lighter, it was empty, you know, it was empty. It was working for the changa, and I smoked the last hit of the pipe and the lighter was working perfectly. I smoked the last little bit of the changa. I was going into that mind-blowing experience, and then when I wanted to try to make a fire, the lighter was empty, and it was so, I couldn't handle it, you know. It was so mind-blowing that it didn't work anymore. And I really tried to make a fire for 1 to 2 hours maybe. I was like, come on boy, come on little boy, you can do it, you can do it. And sometimes like it was working like for a second, and I tried to like enlighten the fire that I built, and it didn't work. It didn't work. And I really, you can't imagine, I was just in the present moment, like really present. And I was 100% focused on that activity to get the fire going. And I was immersed in that. It was like a whole universe bubble in and of itself, just to focus on making a fire. But without a lighter, it was so damn difficult, and I didn't make it. I didn't make it. And it was so sad. Like after 1 or 2 hours of trying, it was rip. It was resting in peace. And it was so sad. It was so unimaginably sad. You know, that was where the emotion really came through. I was feeling the sadness and the suffering of not being able to make a fire without a lighter. So now on my list of to-dos and skills to obtain and learn is the skill of being able to make a fire without a lighter. That's one thing definitely that I want to learn more about because of this experience, because it was so sad to not be able to make a fire. And I named that fire after a guy I really appreciate, Tom Tom. greetings to you, probably not watching any videos, but he's always like taking care of the fire, and I wasn't able to make a fire, so I named that fire Tom Tom, and I was just like making the grave for it and putting some dirt on it and like having the grave ready for this fire. And I buried the whole fireplace, and it was a rip. Rest in peace, little Tom Tom, the fire that was never enlightened. So yeah, I want to learn how to make a proper fire with a lighter and without a lighter, because fire is like one of the greatest things in this world. It's so amazing and so fun to take care of a fire, to make a fire, and to watch a fire. It's such a beautiful present meditative-like experience. And yeah, wait a second, I got to check the camera. Good that I checked the camera. And yeah, after that I ate some fruits and some porridge that we had for breakfast, and it was delicious. Oh my gosh, it was delicious, you know. Wow. You can't imagine like how delicious it is, or maybe you can if you have a reference experience on acid maybe, but it was like, it felt like heaven or paradise, because because while I was eating this porridge and these fruits, I was like on 20 hours or 24 hours of fasting and of not eating anything, so that was a point. And I was like still feeling and seeing the visuals of the DMT. I saw the visuals of the DMT and I felt the acid and the DMT. I was still in that state after trying to make a fire for 2 hours, you know? And it tasted so good. It tasted so good, and with every bite it was like a circle of infinite joy and infinite bliss and love, and it felt like paradise, because you really like after this deep sadness after the fire, it felt so good to eat it. Wow, you can't imagine. Like I was sitting there like by myself in the forest alone, and I was just really present with the food, and I was taking a bite, and it was just wow, melting, and my whole experience, it was like an explosion in my mouth, and it was so delicious. And then after while I was having this experience of the delicious food, I was like just sitting there and watching like the visuals kind of that were still there from the DMT in combination with the LSD, and I was just like appreciating this infinitely beautiful experience of the DMT while enjoying the infinitely beautiful experience of eating this infinitely delicious food. And it felt like heaven, and that circle was like going on for maybe half an hour to an hour. I was just like sitting there and enjoying this food. Then I went back to the rainbow. I was nearly lost in the mountains. It was just like really close. I was like in the middle of nature, and I was not hearing anything from the rainbow, like music, live music or people. And I was just like 3 to 5 minutes walk away maybe. And I walked my usual way, and then I was like, that's a way too, I guess. And then I was walking another way. And then like after 2 minutes I was just like, where am I? I don't know this way, I don't know this path. And I was just like nearly lost in the mountains. But I found another way, and I trusted the way, and I followed the way, and I came back to the Rainbow, and when I was at our camp, the sound was still like so intensified that I could like hear people talking a kilometer or 2 miles away, and it was so weird because it was still like a 300 to 400 mic trip, so it was still going on pretty strong. And yeah, I hear people talking from really far away. And yeah, then I played with our dogs a little bit at our camp. It was so fun to play with them. Then I built up a tarp with some friends. Well, it was not that fun, but it was okay. It was pretty good to like help the community, to be part of trying to help at least as much as I could help, because I was a little bit like not really confused, but like I don't know if my help was that helpful, you know. So yeah, spent some time with my friends, really appreciate them, I love them. Julio, Moth, I love you. And then I had a wonderful night, like dancing on the main fire with a lot of people, and being in a tipi and enjoying the music there, and had a cacao ceremony and a chapati, and really, really nice talks with spiritual, like-minded people and different camps. And I was just like really, it was just like not so strong anymore, but I was really enjoying the whole night and having great talks and listening to great music. And yeah, it was beautiful. Like the night was beautiful. I started like not really early in the morning, but like maybe midday, around midday. And so I was just enjoying the whole night, and then I managed to make a fire. After the night, like I went back to the camp and I was making a fire alone there. And I was watching the next sunrise while being alone at this fire. And it was beautiful, it was silent, it was just like perfect to reflect on the experience, on what just happened, especially like with the changa in combination with the acid, and to journal a little bit and to write something down. It was beautiful. It was like a really beautiful experience. I still want to explore the LSD and the acid a little bit deeper and go way deeper. And now I know that I don't have to be afraid to explore it that much, that deeper, you know, because I had some pretty intense experiences on 200 mics of acid, of really good acid. And they were deep, you know, they were deep and wow, really sometimes even overwhelming. But now, like I know that I'm ready to explore these realms on an even deeper level. And I'm excited to do that and to report back to you what it's like. Yeah, so again, it was a really long trip report. I don't know, do you enjoy these longer videos, like these longer talks or trip reports? Or should I try to compensate it and like make a shorter video out of it to maybe like, yeah, compensate it that much that I just share like the main essence of the trips or of the insights I have, and to make a really short video? Or should I do 2 parts of 15 minutes? Or do you enjoy these longer talks of 30 to 40 minutes? I would really like to know. So if you're still watching, then please write down in the comment section down below if you enjoy these longer videos, or if you would appreciate it if I would make it a little bit shorter. But well, if you're still watching, then maybe you do enjoy these longer videos. So I don't know, yeah, please write it down in the comment section below. So that was it for today, my highest dose of acid so far. Thank you very much for watching and for being here with me now. Yeah, if you want to know more about psychedelics and my psychedelic journeys and using psychedelics for the purpose of self-actualization and self-realization and stepping more into your authentic self, then subscribe to this channel and give it a like and follow me on Instagram, Psychedelic Actualization. And if you want to connect with like-minded people on an even deeper level, then join our Facebook group, Psychedelic Actualization. So that's all for now. Really, thank you so much for being here. It really fills my heart with gratitude and with joy. And I really enjoy making these videos and sharing my presence and my love with you guys. And I really love to read your comments and know that you are there and that you care and that you also maybe even appreciate my work. So yeah, thank you very much. Namaste. And I will see you in the next one.